Ladies and gentlemen, I dare you. Yes, I dare you to work on yourself. I dare you to change the course of your life by taking ownership of your growth. Imagine waking up each day with clarity and purpose, with the unwavering confidence that you are moving closer to your highest potential. Now picture yourself 5 years from now, standing at the summit of success, knowing that you took the necessary steps today to reach that peak. This is not a dream, it is a possibility, but only if you choose to act. Before you dismiss this, let me make this crystal clear. This is not for the faint of heart. It is easy to remain where you are, to drift in the comfort of mediocrity. But if you are truly ready for change, if you are hungry for progress, then I promise you that this speech will reveal the exact steps to break free from your current limitations and set you on the path to greatness. But here's the catch: if you are not willing to challenge yourself, to step outside of your comfort zone, then this speech is not for you. However, if you are ready to see what true transformation looks like, then I urge you to stay, because I am about to show you the way forward. Personal transformation is the cornerstone of all success. It is the catalyst that propels you from where you are to where you want to be. But as simple as the idea sounds, it requires an unwavering commitment to change. You must first acknowledge that the person you are today is not the person you are capable of becoming. To evolve, you must look at your current self honestly, your habits, your mindset, and your actions, and recognize that there is always room for growth. Take, for instance, the story of Thomas Edison. Many know him for inventing the light bulb, but few know of the countless failures he endured before that monumental achievement. Edison's early experiments in electricity were riddled with failures, and more than once, those closest to him urged him to quit, to abandon his pursuit. Yet Edison was unwavering in his belief that he could transform his failures into success. Every setback, every mistake was simply a stepping stone. In fact, when asked about his many failures, Edison famously replied, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This mindset, this commitment to personal transformation through persistence, was what allowed him to ultimately revolutionize the world. Edison didn't just rely on his intellect, he transformed his mind to focus on growth and learning, understanding that his personal evolution was directly tied to the success of his inventions. Your own transformation begins in the same way, through a willingness to learn, grow, and embrace the discomfort of change. Just as Edison needed to shift his perspective from failure to learning, you must embrace the discomfort of self-improvement. For most, the greatest obstacle to transformation lies in the fear of failure, the reluctance to break out of old patterns, and the fear of the unknown. But true growth is not found in comfort. It is found in stepping into the unknown with courage. Let's take another example. Someone who desires to build their career and advance professionally. At first, they may find themselves stagnating. Perhaps they're stuck in the same role for years or feel unnoticed in the workplace. It would be easy to point fingers at others, the company, the economy, or even a lack of opportunities. But true transformation begins with ownership, by looking inward and asking, what can I change about myself? How can I grow? This individual shifts their mindset from a passive observer to an active participant in their own destiny. Consider a person who has always been shy or introverted, perhaps avoiding social events or struggling to express their ideas in meetings. Their transformation begins with a conscious decision to work on their communication skills. Instead of accepting their shyness as an unchangeable trait, they practice speaking in front of a mirror, joining groups that challenge their social boundaries, or taking courses on public speaking. Over time, they not only become more confident in expressing themselves, but they also unlock new opportunities in both their personal and professional life. What once seemed like an inherent flaw transforms into a strength because they dared to face it and work on it. You see, personal transformation is not an event, but a process. It is not something that happens overnight or as a result of a single decision. It requires consistent, intentional action. Every morning you have the choice to move toward the person you want to become or stay where you are. When you decide to invest in yourself, when you dedicate yourself to improving your mind, body, and skills, you begin the journey of personal transformation. It is an ongoing process of breaking down old patterns and building new ones, each one bringing you closer to your highest potential. One more example to consider. Take a person who is struggling with poor health, perhaps living an unhealthy lifestyle, eating the wrong foods and neglecting exercise. The transformation does not happen with a single decision to eat a salad one day or walk a mile on the next. It happens when they decide to radically change their mindset about their health. This means creating a daily habit of healthier choices, understanding that every meal is an opportunity to nourish their body, and every workout is a step toward a stronger, healthier version of themselves. Over time, they begin to see the fruits of their labor, energy, vitality, and a sense of accomplishment. Their transformation is the result of daily actions that build upon one another. The shift occurs when they no longer see health as a goal, but as a lifelong commitment. These examples, Edison's persistence, the career builder's self-reflection, the shy individual's confidence building, and the person transforming their health demonstrate that personal transformation is not something that happens by chance. It is a choice. It is a series of intentional actions that align with a larger vision of who you want to become. And just like Edison, you will face challenges along the way, but every challenge is a lesson in disguise, teaching you the resilience needed to continue on your path of growth. It is through this relentless pursuit of self-betterment that you achieve not only external success, but more importantly, internal fulfillment. The true power of personal transformation lies not just in what you achieve, but in who you become along the way. The mind is the most powerful force you possess. It is the source of every thought, every action, and every decision that shapes your life. Most people are unaware of the true magnitude of the power of their minds. We go through life with an untapped reservoir of potential, not realizing that our thoughts are the seeds from which our reality grows. What we believe, we become. The thoughts we nurture daily form the foundation of our success or failure. The mind is a tool, and it can either work for you or against you depending on how you choose to wield it. Consider the example of a man named Henry Ford. Ford's vision for the automobile was not simply to build a car, but to create a machine that would revolutionize transportation. But before he could manifest that vision, he had to first plant the seed in his mind. In an era where most people thought the idea of mass-producing automobiles was impossible, Ford's mind was already set on achieving that very goal. His famous quote, "If you think you can do a thing or think you can't do a thing, you're right," speaks to the boundless power of belief. Ford's mind was not concerned with the limitations that others saw. It focused on the possibilities that others ignored. Through his thoughts, he was able to create a company that not only built cars, but also transformed industries, economies, and the very way we live. Ford's example highlights one critical aspect of the mind. It is not what you have today, but what you can envision for tomorrow that matters. Your mind has the ability to picture your future before it even comes into existence. It is through this mental image that your actions and decisions are guided. Without the ability to visualize success in the mind, it is nearly impossible to achieve it in reality. Your mind, with its capacity to imagine and plan, gives you the power to carve your own path, regardless of the obstacles in your way. One of the most profound examples of the mind's power is the concept of self-belief. Take the case of a young athlete who is told repeatedly that they will never make it in their sport. They are told their skills are lacking, that they aren't strong enough or fast enough. But despite these limitations placed on them by others, they continue to believe in themselves. They practice with intensity, pushing through each setback, each failure, because their belief in themselves overrides the doubts and criticism around them. Over time, their mental resilience leads them to surpass their competitors, not only in skill, but in confidence and determination. Their mind believing in the possibility of success transforms their reality. It is this kind of mindset that has propelled countless athletes, entrepreneurs, and innovators to greatness. They knew deep down that success was not defined by external circumstances, but by the power of their own belief. Moreover, the mind has the ability to heal the body, as evidenced by countless medical studies and personal stories. There are numerous cases of individuals who, despite facing dire diagnoses, chose to believe in their ability to overcome illness. One powerful example is that of Dr. Norman Cousins, who was diagnosed with a rare and potentially fatal disease. Rather than surrendering to the grim prognosis, Cousins used his mind to heal himself. He believed that laughter, positive emotions, and a strong mental attitude could affect his physical health. Through a regimen of laughter, meditation, and positive thinking, he not only improved his condition, but also went on to live for many more years. Cousins' story is a testament to the profound connection between the mind and the body. His belief in the power of his mind enabled him to overcome a condition that most would consider insurmountable. This demonstrates that the mind is not just a passive observer of our lives, but an active participant in creating our reality. Furthermore, consider the influence of thoughts on our emotional state. Our thoughts can determine whether we experience joy or sorrow, fear or confidence, optimism or despair. Two individuals might face the same challenge, yet their mental outlook can determine entirely different outcomes. One person having a negative mindset will view the challenge as an insurmountable obstacle, while the other with a positive mindset will view it as an opportunity for growth. The difference lies in how they use their minds. The mind that is trained to see opportunity in adversity is the mind that finds a way to succeed. This ability to control our thoughts and perceptions is the key to mastering our emotional responses and shaping our experience of the world. The power of the mind also lies in its ability to learn and adapt. Unlike any machine, the human brain has the capacity for endless growth. It can be trained, honed, and sharpened through practice and focus. Think of a person learning a new skill, such as playing the piano. At first, they are clumsy, uncertain, and frustrated, but with consistent effort, they begin to improve. Their mind, through repetition and focused attention, rewires itself to make playing the piano easier. What once seemed impossible becomes second nature. This process of learning and adaptation is not limited to the piano. It applies to any skill, any endeavor, any dream. The more you train your mind, the more it grows. The more you expose it to new ideas, new challenges, and new experiences, the more capable it becomes. This is why it is said that the greatest investment you can make is in your own mind. But the mind's power does not stop at self-belief or learning. It also plays a critical role in our ability to persist. The mind has the ability to endure, to push through hardship and maintain focus in the face of adversity. Think of the many entrepreneurs who, after facing numerous rejections, failed businesses, and financial struggles, refuse to give up. They persevere because their minds are fixed on the bigger picture. They understand that every failure is merely a stepping stone toward success, and with each setback, their minds grow stronger. Their belief in themselves, their ability to learn from mistakes, and their unwavering focus on their goals keep them moving forward. This persistent mindset is not just a trait of the successful. It is a trait that can be cultivated. It is through the consistent strengthening of the mind that you can train yourself to become more resilient, more focused, and more determined. The mind, when harnessed properly, becomes an unbreakable force, a force that can withstand any challenge, overcome any obstacle, and ultimately create the reality you desire. The power of your mind is not some abstract concept. It is a tangible, active force that shapes your life. It is your most valuable asset, and how you choose to use it will determine your success or failure. Whether you are faced with an opportunity or an obstacle, your mind is the first step toward achieving or overcoming it. The question is not whether you have the power. The question is how you choose to use it. Complacency is one of the most insidious forces that can undermine your potential for success. It is the silent killer of progress, often creeping into your life without warning or even your awareness. Complacency is when you settle for less than you are capable of, when you allow yourself to become comfortable with mediocrity, and when you cease to challenge yourself. It is the mindset that tells you that good enough is good enough, and that there's no need to strive for more. The danger of complacency lies not just in stagnation, but in its ability to drain the very energy and ambition that could propel you toward greater heights. Consider the story of Blockbuster, a company that was once the giant of video rentals in the United States. In the 1990s and early 2000s, Blockbuster was synonymous with home entertainment. The company enjoyed immense success with thousands of stores across the country and a customer base that was deeply loyal. But here's where complacency began to seep in. The leaders of Blockbuster, entrenched in their dominance, failed to see the changing tides of the entertainment industry. They ignored the rise of digital streaming and the convenience it offered. Even when Netflix, a relatively new competitor, approached them with the idea of collaborating or purchasing their company, Blockbuster turned them down, dismissing the concept of online video streaming as a fleeting trend. Blockbuster's complacency in assuming their model would continue indefinitely without adapting to new technologies ultimately led to their downfall. By failing to innovate and seeing beyond their current success, they allowed complacency to dictate their future. While Blockbuster remained comfortable, Netflix, once a small DVD rental service, became the leader in streaming entertainment, revolutionizing the entire industry. Blockbuster's complacency not only cost them their position as the market leader, but it also rendered them irrelevant in a rapidly evolving market. This serves as a powerful reminder of how complacency can blind you to opportunities and set you up for failure, no matter how strong your position may seem at the moment. This example demonstrates the core danger of complacency. It prevents growth. When you become comfortable with your current situation, whether it's in your career, your health, or your personal development, you stop looking for ways to improve. You stop striving for excellence, and instead you become content with mediocrity. This sense of satisfaction is dangerous because it blinds you to the possibility of greater achievements and can eventually lead to decline. On a more personal level, think about someone who has achieved a certain level of success, maybe in their career or personal life, but who has stopped pushing themselves. They have reached a comfortable position, and instead of continuing to grow, they settle into a routine. They stop reading, they stop learning new skills, and they stop challenging themselves to improve. Over time, this stagnation will catch up with them. Their skills become outdated, their energy and enthusiasm wane, and their ambition fades. What they once thought of as success becomes merely a plateau, and eventually others hungrier, more driven begin to pass them by. A prime example of this can be seen in professional athletes. Take the case of a once promising player who reached the pinnacle of their sport, but after achieving success becomes complacent. They stop training as hard as they once did, stop pushing their limits, and start to enjoy the fruits of their labor without striving for more. What happens next? Their performance declines. Younger, hungrier competitors who have not yet reached the heights of success begin to outwork them and outperform them. The complacent athlete, once at the top of their game, is now passed over for players who are willing to put in the work. This same scenario plays out in every industry, whether it's in business, sports, or even education, whenever complacency takes hold. Another example can be found in the world of technology. Consider the case of Nokia, once the dominant mobile phone manufacturer in the world. In the early 2000s, Nokia was a leader in mobile phone sales, with millions of customers worldwide. But as smartphones began to emerge, particularly with the advent of Apple's iPhone, Nokia remained committed to its outdated business model. They had grown complacent in their market leadership, believing that their dominance would continue despite the rapidly changing technology landscape. They failed to recognize the importance of touchscreens, advanced operating systems, and app ecosystems, the key components that would soon make smartphones indispensable. Instead of innovating and adapting, Nokia clung to the past. By the time they realized their mistake, it was too late. Apple and Android had already captured the market, and Nokia's once stronghold in mobile phones crumbled. The company's failure to respond to change led to its decline, and Nokia's brand, which was once synonymous with mobile technology, faded into obscurity. This is the danger of complacency. It prevents you from adapting, from growing, from seizing new opportunities. The world around you is constantly evolving, and if you stop evolving with it, you will be left behind. You can never afford to rest on your laurels or believe that you've arrived. Success is not a destination. It is a continuous journey that demands constant effort, learning, and innovation. The moment you stop growing, you begin to decline, and complacency is the force that accelerates that decline. In your own life, complacency can manifest in many forms. It can appear when you settle into a stable job, convinced that there's no need to improve or move forward. It can occur when you stop setting goals, when you become satisfied with your current level of health, or when you stop nurturing relationships that are vital to your happiness and success. Complacency is the belief that things will stay the same, that your success will continue without additional effort. But life does not work that way. Success is not guaranteed. It must be earned every day through hard work, growth, and a commitment to becoming better. The danger of complacency is that it leads you to believe that you are immune to failure, that your success is secure. But this is a lie. Success requires vigilance. It requires that you always be on the lookout for new opportunities, new knowledge, and new ways to improve. If you are not actively seeking to improve, you are unknowingly allowing complacency to take hold, and that is when failure begins to creep in. It is important to recognize that complacency is not just a state of inaction, it is a mindset. It is the belief that there is nothing more to achieve, nothing more to learn, and nothing more to strive for. It is the mentality that says, this is good enough. And that is the most dangerous thought you can have, because good enough is never enough. Not if you want to live up to your full potential, not if you want to truly succeed. Complacency may offer temporary comfort, but it will rob you of long-term fulfillment and success. Persistence and consistency are two of the most powerful traits that anyone can develop on their journey towards success. While talent, intelligence, and opportunities are important, they pale in comparison to the enduring strength of a person who refuses to quit. Persistence is the ability to keep moving forward in the face of adversity, to continue on your path even when the road becomes difficult. Consistency, on the other hand, is about showing up every day, no matter how small the progress, and giving your best effort, even when it seems like the results are nowhere to be seen. Together, these two traits form the backbone of success. It is not the occasional surge of effort, but the sustained daily commitment that leads to extraordinary outcomes over time. Take, for example, the story of J.K. Rowling, the author of the famous Harry Potter series. Rowling's journey to success was anything but easy. Before achieving worldwide fame, she faced rejection after rejection. In fact, her first book was rejected by 12 different publishers. Imagine what it must have felt like to pour your heart and soul into a manuscript, only to be told repeatedly that it wasn't good enough. Yet, despite these setbacks, Rowling persisted. She didn't let the rejections deter her. She believed in her work, and more importantly, she believed in herself. Finally, one publisher, Bloomsbury, took a chance on her manuscript. The rest, as they say, is history. Had Rowling not been persistent in her belief and her effort, Harry Potter would not have become the global phenomenon it is today. The key to her success was not just talent, but an unwavering persistence to keep going, even in the face of overwhelming doubt and rejection. This example demonstrates that persistence is about not giving up when the odds are stacked against you. It is about pushing through obstacles, failures, and challenges because you believe in your goal and in the work you are doing. Persistence is what allows you to keep your eyes on the prize, even when that prize seems impossibly far away. It's the quality that separates those who achieve great things from those who give up too soon. It is easy to start something new with enthusiasm, but it's persistence that ensures you finish what you started, no matter the obstacles. Consistency plays a similar role, but it requires a different kind of commitment. While persistence helps you keep going when times get tough, consistency helps you stay disciplined in your approach over time. It's not about grand gestures or occasional bursts of energy, but about showing up each day and doing the work regardless of the immediate outcome. Think about the process of learning a new skill. At first, the progress is slow and sometimes imperceptible. You may practice a new language for weeks without noticing any real improvement, or work on your fitness regimen for months before seeing noticeable changes in your body. But if you stop before the results manifest, you miss the compound effect of consistent effort. It is the steady, daily actions that eventually lead to mastery. Consider the example of an individual training for a marathon. The first few weeks may be difficult. The body aches, the weather is unfriendly, and the motivation starts to wane. But the runner persists day in and day out, following a carefully planned schedule. They may not notice major improvements immediately, but they stay consistent, running even when it feels hard, when they don't feel like it, when they're tired. Over time, their stamina increases, their muscles grow stronger, and they find themselves running longer distances with greater ease. The consistent effort, regardless of how small each individual step may have seemed, builds a foundation for success. When race day arrives, it's not the effort of a single day that makes them ready, but the accumulated effect of every consistent step taken over weeks or months. Their consistency transformed their body and prepared them for the race. Consistency doesn't just apply to physical endeavors, it's just as important in intellectual and creative pursuits. Take the example of an entrepreneur trying to build a successful business. In the early stages, the business may not seem to grow quickly. Revenue might be slow and customers may not flock in as expected. However, if the entrepreneur is consistent in their efforts, whether it's improving their product, marketing, customer service, or learning new skills, the results will eventually compound. It's like a snowball gathering size as it rolls down a hill. Their consistent efforts build momentum, leading to breakthroughs that would have been impossible without the steady progress. Success doesn't come from making one big move, but from consistent daily actions that align with your goals. Another crucial example of the role of persistence and consistency is the story of Walt Disney. Before creating the empire that bears his name, Disney faced numerous failures. He was fired from a job at a newspaper for lacking imagination, and his early businesses went bankrupt. Yet he continued to persist. His dream of creating an animation studio never wavered, even when it seemed as though the world was telling him to give up. More than once, Disney had to face financial ruin, but each time he found a way to get back up and keep pushing forward. His consistency in creating high-quality content and improving his craft led to the creation of Disneyland, which would eventually change the entertainment industry forever. It was not a single moment of brilliance, but rather years of persistence and consistent effort that brought Disney's vision to life. What these stories show us is that persistence and consistency are not about immediate results. They are about the long-term commitment to your vision. They are about maintaining faith in your goals, even when the immediate feedback seems discouraging. They are about understanding that success is a process, and that process requires steady effort over time. Both persistence and consistency require patience to understand that the seeds you plant today will take time to grow and bear fruit. But if you continue to water those seeds, to nurture them every day, the harvest will come. In the realm of self-improvement, persistence and consistency also play a vital role. Personal development is not a quick fix. It is a lifelong pursuit. Whether you are working on building a new habit, mastering a skill, or transforming your mindset, it requires consistent effort over time. There will be days when you feel like giving up, when the progress seems too slow or non-existent, but it's in those moments that persistence becomes essential. When you stick to your plan, even when it's difficult, you are setting yourself up for success. And by being consistent, you ensure that the changes you are working toward become permanent and ingrained in your life. Ultimately, persistence and consistency are the driving forces behind achievement. They are the keys to unlocking your full potential and reaching the heights of success that you desire. Talent and intelligence alone cannot guarantee success, but persistence and consistency will never fail you if you apply them diligently and consistently to your goals. They are the foundation on which great achievements are built, the unwavering principles that keep you moving forward no matter the obstacles, and the quiet but powerful forces that lead you to your ultimate success. Success is a highly coveted prize, but it comes at a cost. The price of success is not simply measured in terms of money, time, or effort. It requires sacrifice, resilience, and the willingness to endure hardship. Many people dream of success, but few are willing to pay the price required to attain it. Success is not a gift that is handed out freely. It is earned through relentless work, overcoming obstacles, and most importantly, a deep commitment to a vision that often requires sacrifices many are not willing to make. Take, for example, the story of Thomas Edison, one of the greatest inventors in history. Edison's path to success was not an easy one. He faced countless failures, experiments that didn't work, and setbacks that would have caused most people to give up. In fact, Edison is said to have failed over 1,000 times before successfully inventing the light bulb. But what set him apart was not his intellect or his natural talent. It was his unrelenting perseverance. The price of success for Edison was an extraordinary amount of time and energy dedicated to his work, often at the expense of other areas of his life. He was known to work long hours, often at the expense of his family life and health. Success for him came at the price of personal sacrifice and an unwavering belief in his ideas. He paid the price with his time, his energy, and his focus on his goals, and the reward was one of the most transformative inventions in history. Edison's story is not unique. The price of success is often measured in the sacrifices you make to achieve your dreams. Another example can be found in the world of professional athletes. The life of an athlete may seem glamorous, but it is also filled with relentless training, grueling schedules, and immense physical and mental demands. Michael Jordan, widely regarded as one of the greatest basketball players of all time, paid an extraordinary price for his success. His talent was undeniable, but it was his commitment to practicing and pushing himself beyond his limits that made him a legend. Jordan was known for his legendary work ethic, often practicing for hours after everyone else had left the gym. He would push through pain, fatigue, and setbacks, refusing to accept mediocrity. His price for success was paid in sweat, pain, and sacrifice. He missed out on social events, personal milestones, and moments of relaxation to focus on honing his craft. While his success brought him fame and fortune, it also demanded that he give up much of the ordinary life many people take for granted. Success is not always a straightforward path, and sometimes it requires navigating through failure and disappointment. Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple, is another example of someone who paid a high price for his success. After building Apple into a highly successful company, Jobs was ousted from the company he founded. This setback was a crushing blow to him personally and professionally, but it also became a defining moment in his life. Instead of giving up, Jobs used this failure as fuel for his future success. He went on to create Pixar, which revolutionized the animation industry, and later returned to Apple to oversee the development of iconic products like the iPhone, iPad, and MacBook. Jobs' story is a testament to the price of success. He not only faced public failure and personal disappointment, but he also had to dig deep, overcome his ego, and rebuild his career from the ground up. The price was not just in the effort, but in the resilience and ability to bounce back from setbacks and embrace new opportunities. The price of success is not only about physical sacrifice, it can also take an emotional toll. Pursuing a dream often means facing criticism, rejection, and loneliness. Many people are not prepared for the emotional strain that comes with striving for success. Oprah Winfrey, one of the most successful media personalities in history, experienced this firsthand. Early in her career, Winfrey faced rejection and criticism from industry professionals who told her she would never make it. She was fired from her first job as a television reporter and told that she was unfit for TV, but Winfrey refused to accept these judgments as the final word on her life's potential. She faced significant emotional challenges, especially during her early career, when doors seemed to close at every turn. Despite these setbacks, she remained focused on her goals, and over time, her resilience paid off. Winfrey's success came at the emotional cost of enduring public rejection, personal criticism, and emotional hardship, but her ability to overcome these obstacles helped her to build an empire and become an icon of perseverance. Success also requires a deep level of discipline, focus, and sacrifice in terms of one's time. Consider the example of an entrepreneur who starts their own business. At first, the excitement of building something from the ground up can be intoxicating. However, as the business grows, so do the responsibilities. Entrepreneurs often find themselves working long hours, sacrificing family time, and putting their personal lives on hold to ensure the success of their business. This sacrifice is often invisible to the outside world. It's easy to look at a successful business owner and admire their wealth, their lifestyle, and their achievements. But what's not immediately visible is the price they paid to get there, the sleepless nights, the missed vacations, the personal relationships that were tested, and the constant pressure to perform. The business owner's success didn't come easily. They had to make difficult choices, and many of those choices involved giving up aspects of their personal life to pursue their professional dreams. This price extends to creative fields as well. Take the case of a writer who aspires to become a best-selling author. Writing a book is no easy task. It requires long hours of solitude, focus, and often the ability to work through doubt and frustration. Many writers face years of rejection before finding a publisher, and even then the work is far from over. The author must then promote their book, often while facing criticism, skepticism, and competition from other authors. The price of success in writing is often paid in solitude and self-doubt, with the writer pushing through moments of discouragement to keep working on their manuscript, revising and editing it until it is polished and ready for the world. For every writer who achieves success, there are countless others who struggle for years without recognition or reward. The difference is not talent, but the willingness to endure and to continue pressing forward despite the obstacles and challenges. The price of success also requires an ongoing commitment to growth and self-improvement. Success is not static, it is a dynamic process that requires constant learning, evolving, and adapting. You cannot rest on your laurels or assume that your past achievements will carry you forward. For instance, Elon Musk, the founder of Tesla and SpaceX, is known for his ambitious goals and his ability to tackle seemingly impossible challenges. Musk's path to success has been filled with ups and downs, including near bankruptcy, skepticism from the media, and technical challenges. However, Musk's commitment to his vision and his ability to adapt and learn from his mistakes has been integral to his success. The price he has paid is not only in terms of the time and energy invested in his ventures, but also in the mental and emotional fortitude required to keep going when things seem impossible. Musk's success has come at the cost of personal sacrifice, sleepless nights, and moments of profound uncertainty, but his perseverance has resulted in some of the most innovative and disruptive technologies of our time. The price of success is a steep one, but it is a price worth paying for those who are determined to reach the top. It requires sacrifices in many areas of life, from time to emotional energy, from personal relationships to mental strength. Success does not come easily, but for those who are willing to pay the price, the rewards are immeasurable. It is the ability to endure, to keep pushing forward, and to make the necessary sacrifices that ultimately lead to greatness. Unyielding self-commitment is a powerful force that drives individuals to achieve extraordinary feats. It is the unwavering dedication to one's goals, the relentless pursuit of a vision, and the refusal to accept anything less than the realization of one's potential. Unlike fleeting motivation or external pressures, self-commitment comes from within an inner resolve to stay the course, regardless of the challenges or obstacles that arise. It is this unyielding commitment to oneself that shapes the destiny of successful individuals. The reward of such commitment is not just external recognition or tangible success, but the internal satisfaction and transformation that come with knowing that you gave everything to achieve what you set out to accomplish. Take, for example, the story of Nelson Mandela, one of the world's most respected leaders and humanitarians. Mandela's commitment to the cause of freedom and equality for his people was unwavering, even in the face of unimaginable adversity. He spent 27 years of his life in prison, enduring physical hardships, emotional strain, and constant isolation. But despite the harsh conditions, he remained steadfast in his commitment to end apartheid and to achieve a free, democratic South Africa. Throughout his imprisonment, Mandela held on to his belief that self-commitment to his cause would ultimately lead to the victory of justice over oppression. His time in prison was not wasted. Rather, it was a period of reflection, growth, and mental preparation for the work that lay ahead. His reward for unyielding self-commitment was not only the eventual freedom of his people, but also the dignity of knowing that he had sacrificed everything for what he believed in. His personal victory was in the unwavering integrity of his own resolve, and the legacy he left for generations to come was a direct result of his commitment to his ideals. Similarly, consider the journey of Oprah Winfrey, whose rise from a challenging childhood to becoming one of the most influential women in media is a testament to the power of self-commitment. Oprah faced numerous obstacles growing up, including poverty, abuse, and racial discrimination. However, from a young age, she made a commitment to herself that she would overcome her circumstances and create a better life. She worked tirelessly, constantly improving her craft and honing her skills as a broadcaster. Even after she achieved success with her talk show, Oprah's commitment to herself did not waver. She used her platform to advocate for social change, encourage others to take charge of their lives, and inspire millions. The reward of Oprah's unyielding commitment to her personal growth and her vision for a better world is evident not only in her immense professional success, but also in the profound impact she has had on countless lives around the world. Her story is a reflection of how self-commitment, when coupled with perseverance, can create ripples of transformation that reach far beyond one individual. In the realm of business, self-commitment is equally vital. Consider the case of Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon. Bezos started Amazon in 1994 with the simple idea of selling books online. At the time, the concept of e-commerce was a foreign one, and many doubted the viability of an online store. Bezos, however, was resolute in his commitment to building a company that would revolutionize the way people shop. For years, Amazon operated at a loss, as Bezos reinvested all profits back into the business to fuel its growth. Many critics warned him that his strategy was flawed, and they questioned his persistence. But Bezos remained firmly committed to his vision, understanding that building something great required time, effort, and patience. His self-commitment to his mission allowed him to weather the storms of doubt and uncertainty, and in time, Amazon transformed from a small online bookstore into the global powerhouse it is today. The reward for his unyielding self-commitment is not just in the billions of dollars he accumulated, but in the profound impact Amazon has had on the global economy, the lives of consumers, and the way we interact with technology. Bezos' story underscores how the greatest rewards often come to those who remain steadfast in their commitment to their long-term vision, despite the trials and setbacks they may encounter along the way. An equally compelling example of the power of unyielding self-commitment can be found in the field of athletics. Take the example of Serena Williams, one of the greatest tennis players of all time. Williams' journey to greatness was paved with obstacles that would have deterred most people. From a young age, she faced skepticism due to her race, gender, and unconventional upbringing. Yet, she made an unwavering commitment to herself to become the best tennis player in the world. Serena's commitment required not only rigorous physical training, but also mental fortitude. She endured injuries, personal challenges, and moments of self-doubt, yet each time she returned to the court with a renewed focus and determination. Her victories, including 23 Grand Slam singles titles, are a direct result of her commitment to herself and her belief in her own potential. The reward of this self-commitment is reflected not just in the trophies and accolades, but in the legacy she is leaving as a trailblazer for women in sports, particularly women of color, and as an inspiration to athletes everywhere. Serena Williams' story is proof that the rewards of self-commitment are far-reaching and transformative, affecting not only the individual, but also the world around them. Self-commitment is also the cornerstone of personal development. Many people seek to change their habits, improve their health, or achieve a particular goal. However, real transformation requires a steadfast commitment to the process, regardless of how difficult it may seem at times. Consider the example of someone trying to lose weight and improve their physical health. The journey may start with excitement and motivation, but as time goes on, they are likely to encounter obstacles. There will be days when they feel discouraged, when the progress seems slow, or when they are tempted to give up. The reward of success in such endeavors comes only through unyielding commitment, continuing to show up, even on the days when it's difficult, when results aren't visible, or when the temptation to quit is strong. Those who stay committed, even through setbacks, are the ones who experience lasting change. The transformation is not just in their physical appearance, but in their mindset, resilience, and self-discipline. The reward of self-commitment in personal development is often seen in the growth of confidence, self-worth, and the deep sense of accomplishment that comes from knowing you stayed true to your goals, no matter the obstacles. Another compelling example can be seen in the field of education. Take the story of a student who dreams of becoming a doctor. The journey to this goal is long and filled with challenges, rigorous coursework, long hours of studying, and the emotional strain of balancing personal life with academic demands. At times, the path may seem insurmountable. However, those who are committed to their goal, who refuse to let setbacks and failures deter them, are the ones who ultimately achieve success. The reward for their unyielding self-commitment is not just the title of doctor or the professional success that comes with it, but the deep sense of fulfillment that comes from knowing they did what most thought was impossible. They carried themselves through the difficult times, held on to their vision, and remained steadfast in their purpose. The reward of unyielding self-commitment is not always immediate, and it often doesn't come in the form you might expect. It is not about accolades or instant recognition. It is about the inner satisfaction that comes from knowing you remain true to your mission. It is the peace of mind that arises from persevering through difficult times, the pride in your own resilience, and the personal growth that occurs when you push yourself beyond what you thought you were capable of achieving. Unyielding self-commitment leads to lasting, meaningful rewards both in the material world and in the transformation of the person who committed to the journey in the first place.